Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Monday, the 14th of May, and we are glad to present you our weekly analytical review of the foreign exchange market. Last week, the pair EUR/USD showed mixed dynamics. After the decline to 1.1830, the price started to rise, which can be continued to the levels of 1.2020 and 1.2085. The latter is in the area of midline of Bollinger Bands. A reverse breakdown of the level of 1.1930 will give the prospect of resuming the decline to the levels of 1.1830 and 1.1750, the latter coinciding with Fibo correction of 38.2%. Technical indicators are generally indicating the continuation of growth. A MACD histogram is reduced in the negative zone, stochastic is directed upwards. Fundamental events of the week include the publication of data on retail sales and industrial production in the US, as well as statistics on GDP and the consumer price index in the Eurozone. Generally, continued growth is likely, but the resumption of a decline, in case of breakdown of the level of 1.1930, cannot be excluded. Last week, the pair USD/GBP traded within the range of 1.3585–1.35. The British currency was under pressure from the Bank of England decision not to change the interest rate. A breakout of the level of 1.3585 may lead to an increase in the price to the area of the 1.3730 mark, which coincides with the Fibo correction of 23.6%. Consolidating the price below the 1.35 mark will lead to a further decline to the levels of 1.34 and 1.33. Technical indicators do not provide a clear signal. Bollinger Bands are directed downwards, a MACD histogram is stable in the negative zone, stochastic is directed upwards. Fundamental events of the week include statistics from the UK labour market, as well as inflation hearings in the British Parliament. Generally, to enter the market, it is necessary to wait for the breakout of the 1.3585 mark or the breakdown of the level of 1.35. The pair USD/JPY has been trading in the range of 109–109.90 for the third week in a row. The level of 109 in the midline of Bollinger Bands is seen as the key level for the bears. If it is broken down, the fall of the price may continue to the 108.35 and 107.80 marks. If the price consolidates above the level of 109.90, growth may continue to 110.50 and 111.20 marks. Technical indicators do not provide a clear signal. A MACD histogram is stable in the positive zone, and stochastic is reversing downwards. Fundamental events of the week include the data on GDP and the volume of industrial production in Japan. Generally, to enter the market, it is necessary to wait for the breakdown of the 109 mark or the breakout of the level of 109.90. Last week, the pair AUD/USD showed mixed dynamics. The instrument corrected to the 0.7560 mark, which coincides with the Fibo level of 50%, after the decline to the 0.7535 mark. The breakout of the level of 0.7560 and consolidating of the price above the midline of Bollinger Bands will give the prospect of growth to the levels of 0.7640 and 0.7690. Otherwise, the price may resume to the levels of 0.75 and 0.7435. Technical indicators generally indicate the continued growth. A MACD histogram is reducing in the negative zone, and stochastic is directed upwards. Fundamental events of the week include the publication of the minutes of the last meeting of the Reserve Bank of Australia and statistics from the Australian labour market. Generally, the continuation of growth, in case of consolidating of the price above the level of 0.7560, seems more probable. Last week, the price of gold rose to the midline of Bollinger Bands in the area of 1323 mark. In case of its breakout, one may expect further growth to the levels of 1335 and 1348. The mark of 1313 is seen as key for the bears, which coincides with a Fibo correction of 76.4%. Its breakdown will give the prospect of a decline to the levels of 1303 and 1295. Technical indicators generally indicate the continued growth. MACD histogram is reducing in a negative zone, and Stochastic is directed upwards. Generally, the continued growth after the breakout of the level of 1323 seems more likely, but the resumption of decline cannot be excluded completely. That's all for today, and good luck with your trading.